All right, can you hear me out there? Hola, mi amores. Hola, IAAH Radio Plus. Good afternoon. What a wonderful weekend. Can you guys hear me? What a wonderful weekend in the mountains. It is a balmy 82 degrees out here. Everybody's on the lake kayaking, which we're hearing right now in the background. But hopefully you can hear me, guys. Okay, yep. Great. Hi, everyone. Happy Father's Day weekend, and welcome to Know Your Truth Real Talk, where we're going to talk about the truth. Well, our truth, right? I actually, every time that a holiday of Father's Day, because I consider it a holiday, or Mother's Day come around, I choose to do Know Your Truth Real Talk on those subjects. Because do you notice that a lot of people, and it's not for us to judge, but most people that haven't done their jobs are celebrating. And the ones that have done their jobs, we wouldn't even know that they didn't do theirs, but some of us know and some of us don't. Well, yeah, I don't think that's quite fair, but you know what? They have every right to do it, I guess, since they were a part of contributing 5 minutes or less or whatever the case may be. But if that's not you, good. If, if it's you that did the job, great. And we're not here to judge. So I'm coming in today with a Father's Day special, guys. So I hope you all here, ladies. Hope you're hearing this as well. And guys, you can go check out Mother's Day as well if you choose to. It's up to you. I have that um, on my past videos in the month of, I believe it was May, right? Yeah. So today's title on Know Your Truth Real Talk. Wait, thanks for joining me, Judge Desire for Knowledge, your host with the most. And I say that because you can check my other channels, Grilling with Judge Desire for Knowledge, Know Your Truth Real Talk, this one. Next week, Legal Matters is now changed to Court Affairs, or Legal Affairs has just been changed to Court Affairs. So come check out that interesting segment. I do every last Saturday of the month. And then I have I'm out and about, which means, domestic travel, and I'm out and about travels, which means international destination travels. So go check those out. I haven't gone yet, but you never know when. I'll hit you up when I do. All right. So today's title is Father's Day Reality Check, and we all need that, right, guys? Good fathers versus bad fathers. What makes a real dad? So, welcome to our Father's Day edition, guys. Today, we're talking about one of the most powerful, and this is the truth, influence in a child's life. Now, don't get me wrong, this is your weekend. And why I say the most powerful influences on a child's life, because the word influence is really big here. And you are. Women, yours is a different one. Go check out the Mother's Day edition. This is not for you, but you can join in and contribute if you choose to. I'm live right now. All right. So as I said, it's one of the most powerful influences in a child's life. Dad. Okay. That's really important. So that you know that this is not a father's bashing show, and it's also not a dad can do wrong celebration either. All right. I just want to make sure of that. We're keeping it real here on Know Your Truth Real Talk. I just want to shout out that there are stepfathers, grandfathers, foster fathers, and legal fathers who are legal guardians as well. If people didn't know, a father does not have to be just biological. All right. And with the same blood. That's not what it is. Okay. A father is what I'm going to present here today. Well, actually, a dad is, but you'll understand what I'm saying, because some fathers show up every day. They work hard, sacrifice, teach, protect, encourage, and love. Others, well, they show up when it's convenient, disappear when responsibility arrives, and somehow thinks liking an FB post, FB meaning Facebook post, counts as parenting. All right. Now, I'm not talking about the father that has been pushed out of their child's lives, okay, due to misunderstandings with an ex-partner. I'm not talking about those. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking to these fathers that really don't participate because they choose not to. And there are that do choose not to. I don't know what for reason. but it's true. So today we're going to explore the difference between good fathers and bad fathers, and the difference between a dad and a father, and the impact it has on long after childhood, long after the childhood ends and they become adults. So listen up, go get that popcorn. Did you get it yet? I'm just designed for knowledge. Go get that popcorn. Try not to put too much butter. It's not good for us. It does taste delish, but yeah, try to lower that cholesterol. Yeah, I've been to the gym this week. Yay, I made it. Trying to do that gym because I love food, but you know what? I know my limits. So when I say go get the popcorn, get the healthy one, please. I just realized that I'm telling you guys to get the popcorn, but that's actually a way of saying it's gonna be popping. Anyway, because a father's influence, okay, let's go back. The impact it has over a child is very impactful and even lasts after their childhoods. Okay, so during the adulthood, this can impact them as well because a father's influence, like we said in the beginning, that influence is a big thing. It doesn't stop when a child turns 18, guys. It doesn't. It echoes for decades and decades. Um, what makes a good father? We're going to talk about that now. A good father isn't perfect. Let me get that right. Let's clear that up right now. Nobody is perfect, and a good father isn't. A good father makes mistakes, so understand that. They lose their tempers. Understand that it's human, it's normal. Good fathers don't always have all the answers. So please, ladies and gentlemen, oh, guys, I should say too, in case there is no ladies. Good. The fathers don't have to always have. You guys don't have to always have the answers. Okay, we learn together. You learn with your child sometimes, and when they become adults, they'll remember it. But good fathers keep showing up. Okay, that's what that is. A good father, because that what we just showed was human side of a good father. Now, a good father, a human side of a good father will not be able to do everything, but they show up. They keep their word. They protect their families. This is what a good father does, provides the best he can, because like I said, nobody's perfect, teaches responsibility, makes time for his children or child or children, and admits when he's wrong, and leads by example. Some of us didn't have that growing up, and some of us did. Well, that's okay. Let's move forward. It's not the end of the world, okay? A good father understands that children learn more from what he does than what he says. So you can teach a child to be honest, but if they watch you lie, guess what lesson they learned? And I'm not just saying as fathers, anyone in the household that lies, you teach your child to do the same. You could tell them to be honest, but if you don't do it, they're not going to do it. Just like I said, let's repeat that. If you teach a child to be honest and then they watch you lie, that's the lesson they're going to learn. So it's not directed to you specifically, but any of the partners, mother or father, lie. I'm not just going to throw this only on the dads. Nope. Because if the mother lies, dads or fathers, then it's the same thing. They're going to come to think, okay, well, you can lie, so can I. All right. So be very careful. Try to be truthful. If you're growing up your kids now, if they're adults now, still be truthful. Let them know, do what you have to do. They're adults now, or if they're children, you could grow them into being better adults. So I'm going to now explain the signs of a bad father. All right, now let's get uncomfortable because this will be a bad father isn't necessarily the guy who left. Okay, sometimes he's sitting right there in the house. Yes, I've seen that. I've heard it in the courtrooms. I've seen it in a lot of people's lives. Bad fathers are physically present but emotionally absent, make promises they never keep, put their own wants before their children, use fear instead of guidance. Yeah, these are bad things. Refuse accountability is a big one. So try not to do that, guys. I hope you're not. Disappear during difficult times. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too. They end up in the courtroom. So Think paying a bill is the same as parenting. Oh, I paid your bill, so now I'm your parent. Oh, yeah, we good. No, that's not what it is. Children need more than a wallet. They need love. They need wisdom. They need encouragement. A child cannot hug a child support check um, or payment. All right. So if you voluntarily given child support, kudos to you. But that's not all that it takes. Okay. And vice versa. If the wife requested or ex partner or whatever requested child support payments, you do your job anyway. Okay. A child cannot get a hug from that, especially if the other partner, your ex-partner, isn't doing their job. Let's hope they are, because now they're not getting anything. No hug, no love, and that's hard on a child. I've seen that as well, and in and outside the courtroom, and it's so sad to see it. But let's get humorous for a moment. Let's talk about some classical bad dad excuses, though. My child knows I love them. Really? Did you tell them? Did you tell them today? Or are you going to go out there and celebrate today? Wait, it's tomorrow. Father's Day, huh? Yeah. Well, if you know your child loves them, you should tell them, because children aren't mind readers, all right? And another favorite one I picked up, because I see this on my daily experience, work experience, and just life. Um, a lot of parents, and we're on Father's Day now. I was busy to be a parent. You were too busy. Okay. Busy for 15, 20 years. That's not busy. That's a missing person case. Okay. Because there's a difference between busy and never showing up. All right, fellas. So don't let that be you. And if it is, change that. And then there's I don't know how to be a father. You know those types? Sorry, guys. But yeah, there's those types. They don't know how. I didn't know how to be a mother. Well, neither did any father when their baby arrived. So don't use excuses like this to, counteract the fact that you're not doing your jobs, but you're going to go celebrate tomorrow on Father's Day. Come on, guys. You could do better than this. And don't think I'm taking it hard on you guys. I'm not. I'm just giving you an outlet to open up and reach out to your inner self and see if this self-awareness becomes something that you can understand within yourself, and if it's not good for you. But if it is, then you know to change it, right? Self-awareness is really huge. It's going to help you out there. Um, the thing about that is the good ones learn and the bad ones make excuses. So if you're always making excuses, we need that changed. Stop the excuses. There's some people, there's real excuses that we can't actually counteract, but there are reasons for them. But then again, you can do what you can around that, the best you can. If you're not doing the best you can, no matter what the reasons are, then you're not doing it. But you can celebrate, have a beer, smoke a cigar, or whatever guys do on Father's Day. Then you have every opportunity to not make any excuses and do what you have to do. All right. Now, because the influence of a father, like I said, is a lasting impact, it reaches into adulthood. Many successful adults still hear their father's encouragement years later. I know I've heard my father's encouragement. If you were given or not, hopefully you were. Likewise, many struggling adults still hear their father's criticisms decades later. So it's either encouraging, we've heard encouragement, or we've heard criticism. That is going to stay for decades because it's an influence that fathers give to their children, guys. So remember, if you have children and you're not there, and you haven't been there, go there today, before this Father's Day, please. If they're alive and you're alive, go. Um, because it's very important that the influence you impact on them, because it's going to be a lifetime, I know. And I'll tell you about that later, but I understand this. The criticism decades later, you'll remember everything, between the influencing of a good influence and a bad influence. Bad influencing is like criticizing, yelling, and never talking to your children, not being there. These things are what really hurts. So, because all the time, things like words, they matter. Present matters, your presence. Consistency matters. Things like that are very important in a child's life as they're growing up into adulthood. So it's very important that a father can become a source of confidence, all right, or a source of lifelong doubt. It's one or the other. They either become a source of confidence in their influencing their child or a source of lifelong doubt. And you don't want that on your child. The choice matters more than many fathers realize today, but not a lot of them are realizing it. Maybe because their fathers didn't do it, and their fathers didn't, and the fathers before that. But you can make the change. You are the change. And when I sit down and listen to stories in court and experiences and other people, I say, but what are you doing about it? Are you going to just sit and tell your story of what didn't happen and not take initiative on making that change for your new generation of children, for your children and their children and future children? I mean, we don't have to stay stuck there. You can get yourself out of it. I know I have, and a lot of people I know that have the ability to do so with positive thinking, they've done the same thing. Because once we get stuck and we stay there, we saturate in it, and we think, oh, this is okay, I'm happy here. Later on, you're not happy. Your kids aren't going to be happy. In the future of those children's aren't going to be happy either, because now you're stagnant in a generational um, repeat cycle. Okay, and that's not what you want to be stuck in, and you don't want that cycle to go from generation to generation. But let's talk about something that doesn't always get discussed. There's a difference between being a father and being a dad too. So we just talked about good dad versus bad dads, right? But did you know there's a difference between being a father and being a dad? Okay, just as life, and I was just going to tell you right now. And please like and share and subscribe. But let's start this. All right, so biologically, a father is the person who helped created the child, right? All right, we know that to be a fact. But being a dad, that requires something else. A dad is a role you earn, okay? You should to be called dad is a role you earn. A dad is built through actions, not words, okay? Because having a child and raising a child are two completely different jobs. All right, let me say that again, fellas. Having a child and raising a child are two completely different jobs. Okay, a father provides DNA, a dad provides direction. Okay, like for instance, a father may say, "That's my child." Yeah, okay. And a dad said, "That's my responsibility." You see the difference here? Because I know a lot of people in the foster system, adoption, and even high profile entertainers whose parents weren't there. And now all of a sudden, if they made it big or something happened, now I'm here. That's my child. They're celebrating on Father's Day, just like mothers, but this is about you guys. They're celebrating today, tomorrow, on Father's Day. They're going to have fun. And we didn't even know that they weren't, they just claimed their child because they gave, you know, they gave a part of, you know which part. All right, I can't say they gave birth because they didn't, but they were a part of the birthing system, I should say. And so that's my child. That's what a father says. A dad says, that's my responsibility. Now that's man. That's a man right there. That's a man. He's growing. A father may know their child's birthday, right? Some of them don't actually, to tell you the truth, but the ones that do, that's about it. A dad knows the child's fears, the child's dreams, their struggles, their favorite foods, and what makes them laugh. You know why? Because knowing about your child is different from knowing about your child. I want to make this slow and clear, is different from knowing your child. Knowing about your child and knowing your child. If you know, you know. All right? A father can be absent, a dad shows up. Okay? There's the difference. A father can disappear for years and can still say, I'm still their father. Technically, maybe. All right? But a dad understands presence is a part of the job. A child doesn't just need a name on paperwork. They need someone in the room. They need someone at the game. They need someone who answers the phone, someone at the school event, someone who says, I may not be perfect, but I am here when you need me. And that's an amen to that, because that is a good one. No one's going to be perfect. No one has the perfect parents. I'm not a perfect parent. My parents weren't perfect. Your parents aren't. If you think they are, good for you. That's in your mind only, because there's no perfect parent. All right, let me get that straightened out now. And that's real talk. But for another humorous moment, it's like when fathers, they go, well, I sent money, my job is done. No, sir. That's not fatherhood. That's a financial transaction, because your child doesn't need an ATM with your last name. They need a human being. Okay, so let's get that right. I've seen it in court where that's all they say. I sent the money, I do the money. And you don't know what behind the scene is, because I know that they've been actually men. I'm sorry. I know you've been harassed in court. Some of you deserving, some of you not. But you bring it to the courthouse, so we in your business, as they say in the streets, because you choose for us to be. I hope people reconsider after seeing my show of bringing stuff to court. We'll still be at work, because there's other stuff that you guys won't give up anyway. But just to say how embarrassing it is, and for your children as well, when you can amicably just together, and sometimes this doesn't work, together work it out and resolve situations and come to a resolution outside of court. But I know and I've seen that sometimes that's not what this is about. And sometimes it's not about the child either. Yeah, we all know that one too. But either way, let's get back to the subject, because I don't want to get off here. And I'll do another show on that one outside of the Father's Day and Mother's Day. But don't get me wrong, some children grow up using their parent as the ATM machine for real. Somehow they were taught. Okay, so if you know your child is using you as an ATM, find out where that source comes from. Yeah, because if my child ever, or children ever used me as an ATM, I would open my mouth and say, excuse me, you got work? Well, then go find work. Because like my mom used to say, and my dad, my money is my money. Yeah, they used to tell me that. Now you go find your own. And you know, it may seem harsh, but they did the right thing by doing that, because now I'm ambitious. I go out for my own. Whether I have a husband, boyfriend, or whatever, I'm married now, but if I didn't, I got my own. I could take care of me. But when you're dependent all the time and it doesn't work out, because sometimes that dependency is not going to work out. That's called codependency. And when it doesn't, where you're going to be, right? So try not to teach your children that you're the ATM machine. I've seen it in and outside the courtroom, but we'll move on. Let's go back to a father can make a child, all right? And that's the truth. Sometimes that's all fathers could do. A dad helps make a person. That's the difference. Let me repeat that. Let Judge Desire for Knowledge repeat that. A father can make a child. A dad helps make a person, which is more important. A dad teaches how to handle anger, how to respect others, how to apologize, how to work, how to love, how to stand back up after failure, which is really important, because we're all going to get there where we can fail. Because if you don't fail, then you're not going to know how to move forward. If you can't take failure right either, you won't get back up. So failure is good sometimes, not all the time, but it will teach you how to be stronger, how to get back up. And that's really important for children before they go into adulthood. This is why we can't baby them or breastfeed them for over the time and extended time. And I mean that metaphorically, because I've seen people still breastfeed their children, and I don't mean physically, mentally, and that needs to stop. Because children don't just need someone who pays the bills. Yeah, we're going back to that. They need someone who builds character. Okay? Yeah. We're going to talk about now. Let's talk about modern fatherhood, which is really today's fathers facing challenges previous generations were not or can never ever imagine. because back in the days when our fathers were fatherhood, fathering and in fatherhood, social media wasn't around. This is the distractions they have here now: digital distractions, blended families, co-parenting, financial pressures. Yeah, not that they didn't have some of that before, but now it's even worse. The financial pressures, the co-parenting, because most families aren't staying together like they used to for whatever reasons, um, and social media. So, for instance, why I bring up digital distractions and social media is sometimes that can get in the way of bringing up your children. It's not bad, but I'm just saying if that's how you communicate with your child and you don't have a sit down with them personally, then that's not a good choice, really. And sometimes it can be because that's the only way you can, depending on where you are. But it has done some pros and cons for us out here. Wherein previously in our parents, of you know, from back in the day, they didn't have these um, social media, cell phones, things like that to communicate and anything, but they made sure they did it. Some did not. Now we have all of this and we don't have any communication sometimes, huh? With the person that should communicate with you, whether it be the child communicate with you, because it goes both ways when they become adults, hopefully. Um, but here's the truth. I'm going to just bring it. Children don't need a perfect father. So let's stop being the perfect father or trying to be that perfect father. You don't have to be. They just want you to be you. They need an involved father. Kids won't remember every gift, they'll remember every time dad showed up. So that should be more of a giving thing. You give yourself. In a lot of today's situations, the fathers are trying to show up a lot, but that sometimes doesn't work out the way they want it to because third party influences, and you know what that is, right? The ex-wife, the ex-girlfriend, the baby mama. And I've seen that in the courthouse too when I worked in that court. Oh, that's no joke, family court. But the ones that brainwash their children or child because their relationship or marriage didn't work out. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there, fellas. Unfortunately, sometimes you got the dads that they're doing the most, but their children has already been manipulated by the third party influences, which is probably the ex-wife, the ex-girlfriend. You call it what you want, the baby mama. Yeah, this is the men's show, so I'm gonna keep it real. What I see in the court, just like I did for the female show, the Mother's Day edition. But it's true. The ones that brainwash their children, there's a lot of them out there. Don't think that's not true. That is happening in the real time too. Because some of them are jealous, envious. Their marriage didn't work out, and or they felt rejected. Whatever the case may be, they taking it out on these children now. It's real. It's facts. Family court is not a public arena, but I'm not there for you. I can't mention names and stuff of cases, but this is work experience. I've seen this in life experiences as well of others, and it sucks. And the child is often stuck in the middle between the half truths and the lies, including the manipulation. So, the lesson I say here for you guys, and this is a big one: beware of who you lay down with. You don't have to lay down with everybody because, believe it or not, you're going to have children. That sex brings children. Now, if you had done what the word says, now I'm going back old school because I didn't think like this, but I'm watching the courtrooms and everything, and I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah. If you want to have children, have it with the person you're going to marry, please. Because and that doesn't mean that's going to work out. But in other words, someone that's going to be serious about you and you about them. Because this right here, the manipulation, the courtroom stuff, and everybody knowing your business, that's no fun. That's no fun at all. So that's my lesson for you guys here is to beware of who you lay down with, fellas. Seriously, this is no joke where you go and you just say, I don't care. I do it with anyone, anywhere, any place. Be careful about that. You will pay in the end. So this Father's Day, just let's celebrate the men who showed up. All right. The dads who worked overtime, the dads who sacrificed, the dad who coached, encouraged, taught, protected, prayed, and stayed. Yeah. And for those who fell short, for whatever reason I just mentioned, or they just weren't there, there's forgiveness. It's called forgiving. We can all forgive and move forward and still try to make it happen. Let the past be forgiven and forgotten, whether you want to still have a relationship with that person, your child or a father, or whatever the case may be. Forgiveness has to take place here, because it's the best thing you can do for yourself first and then for them. And then you can move forward and bring together the relationship that is well important, needed. Because remember, guys, you are the influence of a child's life. So may this be a reminder that it's never too late to become the father your children need. Because being a father is biological, but being a dad is a choice, okay? Happy Father's Day to you all fathers making that choice every day. You can celebrate. You should. Yeah. And I think you all deserve it. Those that haven't, I'm not talking about you, but those that did and that do every day, kudos to you all. We love you guys. Happy Father's Days to everyone. Until next time, remember, children may outgrow your lot, but they never outgrow your influence. See how important that word is here? And I showed you why it is, okay? So here I go, bringing you the truth and nothing but the truth on Know Your Truth Real Talk. With me, your host, Judge Josiah for Knowledge, is adjourned. And I will see you next week, Saturday, at the same time, same place. I probably won't. I have an event. I'm going to upload it. Next week is court affairs, every last Saturday of the month. It's a good topic. Come check that out. All right. I hope you all have the greatest weekend. Stay blessed. Stay loved. I'm about to do my grilling tomorrow. Father's Day grill for my husband because he's worth it. He's a good father and a good man and a good husband. So he deserves it. Ladies, go get that man that's deserving, that whether he had your child or he has a child with somebody else. If he's a good father, he deserves to be treated like one, regardless of what his past was, as long as he's doing his job. All right. Take care, guys, and go check that Father's Day grilling. I'll be putting it up next week. All right. Check me out on my channel, YouTube, where I'll be putting up grilling with Judge Desire for Knowledge. And check me out and tune in when you can't see me on YouTube. Check me out on IAAH Radio Plus. All right. With the best DJs and the best music in town. Yeah, it's all about house. All the DJs, DJ 5 a.m., DJ Buggin' Hard. I can't remember the other guy's name, but you all rock. Thank you for having me here, IAAH Radio Plus. And subscribers, thank you so much. Love, blessings to everyone. Hope you enjoyed this session.